So down with the grit, now spread, now spread, now spread, now spread, now spread.
Everyone, welcome to London, courtesy of Headlock Productions. I'm always the best, never settle for less, dressed to impress, really depressed, and constant stress. I am George Arkansas, and my partner in crime, it's Boosie.
Hello everybody, this is How We Do It, and unlike my beautiful, bodacious, bootylicious, bald commentary partner, I do not have a catchphrase.
Indeed he doesn't. As you see, the action that we have coming up tonight, the amazing, spectacular Kid-Arachnid going to go up against the human highlight reel, Bryan Cruz, two very well documented wrestlers that we've had for a while. But this is exciting, but it could not be as exciting as our main event coming up here in London for the Headlock Productions Championship. To crown the inaugural champion, we have the Neoma Sin up against the Anomaly, Lennon Walsh. What a card we have for you tonight.
That is indeed correct. And, well, opening the show, we have a T1GP Heavyweight Championship match between Blake Syrase and Kenshin.
Yes, indeed, as you see, the contender as well as the champion. Both very experienced in their own right, but we'll get to that as soon as we get into the entrances. And speaking of, we should be getting to them very soon.
That we should.
Introducing first, Blake Syrase!
In comes the challenger, the fallen dream chaser himself, Blake Syrase, a veteran of 10 years who had just recently lost to Volador Tigre on the latest episode of Carnage, looking to try and get his get back. And the fallen dream chaser seems to have been a moniker that he's been having for quite a minute, having some title chances indeed, in where he was not successful. I mean, the most recent one that comes to my mind was him up against Rock Down for the IWA Heavyweight Championship. Certainly not his best showing, but certainly trying to show his best at the very least. This is another opportunity for him to maybe have that dream chase actually be on the higher ranks, I imagine. I mean, considering this is the T1GP Heavyweight Championship he's chasing of all things.
Right. And realistically, you have to think, is he going to be chasing another dream in becoming T1GP Heavyweight Champion, as the champion Kenshin hasn't been dethroned for that thing in over 5 years?
That is certainly a thing to be questioned here. As out comes the Dark Side Shogun himself.
You hear the music, you wait in anticipation for the man himself. Obviously, you hear the crowd cheering for Kenshin, and he hasn't even made his appearance known yet. A big change, a big stark contrast in Blake Syrase.
And his opponent, he is the T1GP Heavyweight Champion, Kenshin!
And as I was mentioning before, the Dark Side Shogun Kenshin holding that T1GP Heavyweight Championship for over 5 years and having a career spanning over 14 years. These two veterans in their own right, but Kenshin seemed to have the little bit more edge, I mean by 4 or 5 years indeed, and having several defenses of this championship, not having lost it once. Some opponents including Namo and Ty Rain, and his most recent defense up against Silver Jaguar, Pro Wrestnova's Final Frontier. And this is not the last stop for him as the T1GP Heavyweight Champion, as he's going to have to defend it up against someone who's wrestling tonight, Bryan Cruz, at RPW's One Night in Tokyo coming up very soon. So Kenshin is a war-torn vet.
War-torn is the best way you can describe that, because Shogun, the dark side Shogun, you know the word Shogun means military leader over in Japan where he comes from. That means he has ruled over the T1GP Heavyweight Championship scene, as we have seen, for many years. And you have to think most champions would be looking at their opponent tonight, but I'm pretty sure Kenshin's looking right past Blake Syrase and is preparing for Bryan Cruz.
Yes, indeed. I'm sure the stark contrast is indeed that Kenshin is looking into his next defense after this one, whilst Blake Syrase, this has got to be the one thing that he's been focusing on the entire time ever since it was announced. I mean, this is the T1GP Heavyweight Championship. It doesn't come just, every once in a blue moon, or every so often, This is a big deal here for Blake Syrase, and I mean, he's had several championship shots, as I've said before, but this one has history, and a whole lot of it as well. So I think it would mean a lot for Blake Syrase to pick up the championship right here in London. We'll just have to see how well he fares up against the 14-year veteran, as being the 10-year.
Right, I agree, and honestly, I think this has to be Blake Cyrase's most important championship match, because again, no one's dethroned Kenshin. Kenshin is the only T1GP champion that I can remember, and if he defeats Kenshin here, he will not have only broken the 5-year streak, but has etched his name as the man that defeated the first ever, which is the second ever, and that's a big feat right there.
Yes, indeed. Being the fallen dream chaser himself, he's trying to chase all these dreams in this short amount of time. We can only imagine how much time he has left, considering he's chasing after all of them so late into his career after 10 years.
You have to imagine Kenshin's looking to make this fallen dream chaser, his dreams, turn into nightmares here.
Indeed.
As we await the opening bell.
And there it is that it kicks off. These two staring a hole into each other. And I can't help but notice the red versus blue contrast here.
Not only the red versus blue contrast, the height difference between the two. As we know, red versus blue is beef as old as time itself.
Yes, indeed! I mean, of course, it's also representing the two colors other than white of the United Kingdom flag here tonight, so they're being somewhat true to the theme, but certainly seems like there's a bit of an edge here from Kenshin, as you see the strength being his forte and not exactly Blake Syrase's, so Blake Syrase is going to have to try and find a way to use
that
his speed and
yes.
momentum, as well as his size deficit, to his advantage. And it seems like he's doing so right now.
Oh, well, antagonizing Kenshin is not something I would do. The speed, yes, but hitting him in the back and then just taunting there, not smart.
Oh, no, absolutely. It seemed like he was getting a little too big for his britches at this moment. But it seems like he's able to fend for himself just a bit fine, able to dodge a chop after getting out of that full Nelson, and now clawing at him like a stray cat.
Oh, I thought he was trying to lock in a sleeper, but that size just wouldn't allow it.
It only seems like that size deficit can get him so far, not in much of the strength department. But, I mean, as it was obvious, Blake Syrase trying to use any advantage he can, but Kenshin able to power through it. Now, Kenshin isn't exactly the most flashy wrestler. He uses the fundamentals, but he uses that, size in order to make them more impactful.
Speaking of fundamental, that drop toe hold there, and it's just walking over the back. Oh my god!
Dodging a flying bullet in terms of Kenshin, but it spun right back. And now bring him off the ropes. This is looking quite dire here for Blake Syrase!
Jesus!
As that lariat just turned him inside out, sent him head over heels, and yet he still has the defiance to kick out. Better man than I am. I would have just stayed down.
About to say that lariat. Oh, that lariat was strong enough to level a mountain. Blake Syrase able to kick out at 2, but you have to wonder that does some long-term damage, as does these strikes.
I mean, certainly in the long term, but in the short term, Blake Syrase has to come up with something in order to outsmart Kenshin. And so far, it only seems like Kenshin is getting the better of Blake Syrase. And as you can see, it seems like he's reveling in it.
That he is. He knows Kenshin. Well, I'm sorry, Kenshin. He knows he has this match under control. He's wrestling the match that he wants instead of the one that Cyres is used to wrestling. That slow, methodical style from Kenshin, dissecting him like a surgeon.
I can only imagine what Blake Syrase has taken up on Kenshin. I mean, Kenshin, again, has had a career for over 14 years. There's certainly a lot of tape to study. But I don't know if he was prepared for that regardless if he watched him or not.
I don't think there's any way to prepare for a man like Kenshin just manhandling you. Look at him. Just look at this. Just lifting him over and over, draping him across the knees. And no matter how much you study, you can't prepare for the strength.
Yeah, it only seems like he's just only being weeded out for his weaknesses of that big penalty kick across the head. He hooks the knee, not even the leg.
That's unorthodox. And speaking of unorthodox, as you mentioned with the penalty kick, you see Cyres has those more modern kick pads, while Kenshin has the old school style shin guards.
Yes, indeed. Kenshin, a true to form, kind of very unmodern type of wrestler, but that hasn't stopped him from getting wins across the board, as now you see Blake Syrase having some heavy work being done to his back as you see him yelping in this camel clutch.
That he is trying to crawl to the ropes, but the big stature, the big size of Kenshin not allowing it, having to opt to break the grip.
Just getting by, throwing in these heavy shots, or at least as heavy as he can make them.
Not to say, and always just absorbing these chops from Kenshin.
Oh, handstand.
Head scissors takedown, and Kenshin's kipping up.
Absolutely nothing seems to affect the Dark Side Shogun, but it seems like Cyres picking up on it a little bit.
About to say, the Dark Side Shogun, no matter what no matter what Cyres is throwing at Kenshin, Kenshin is just getting back up, showing that defiance, and the first man out of the ring is Kenshin.
And Cyres is looking to try and prove to Kenshin that he's just not someone you should look past as a suicide tornado.
Oh my
DDT
goodness!
Planted right on the thin matting here in London. Good lord. And yet the crowd is still not on Cyres' side.
Not at all. And I mean, if I didn't have to be impartial, I'd say I'd agree with them. Cyres may suck, but that maneuver to the outside, that suicide DDT, definitely didn't.
I mean, yeah, you got to give credit where credit's due. Blake Cyres is using every advantage that he has to the best that he can here. As you see this half crab, as Kenshin seems to be in a bit of trouble. As soon as I say that. There that goes.
Ooh! Jesus, did you hear that thunderous chop?
Absolutely. Now these heavy forearms, heavy hands here. A Sambo hip toss. And a gliding knee strike.
Back to what you said earlier about Kenshin's wrestling style being basic but effective. And I mean, just look at him. The fundamentals. Oh my God. He's going backwards into that corner. The fundamentals are what got Kenshin to this dance. What's kept him T1GP Champion. I don't think many of your wrestlers are really prepared for that basic style that Kenshin implores.
Well, I mean, for the modernization of professional wrestling today, I'm sure there was a lot that you could not expect from somebody who's learned the fundamentals and worked with them his entire career, and it's worked for him well later into his career. It seems like Cyres kind of working with it too, with that neck breaker, drop kick, flip him. Running knee strike, stunning Kenshin and sending him to the floor as what could potentially he'd be looking for here by the Eye of Agamotto. And hits the cover. 1, 2. He didn't hook the leg.
That might have cost him. He put the forearm across the face, not hooked the leg, not giving that extra weight, allowing Kenshin to get that shoulder up. And that might have been a mistake there.
Oh, my goodness! Reverse
another DDT. And speaking of another mistake is not going for the pin immediately.
It seems like he's looking to finish off with a bang.
High risk, high reward, shooting star. No water in the pool. Nothing.
A whole bunch of nothing, a big boot. And an arm trap neck breaker to follow. And it only seems to be getting worse every second for Cyres here. He's now hooking the leg. This time around, expert lateral press, but still Cyres able to bolster his shoulder up.
Kenshin adding a DDT of his own in those. Oh my god!
Those stiff killer Corrado kicks.
Just shin meeting the face of Cyres.
Oh, and meeting the ribs as well.
Something I can't help but notice is the tattoos of Kenshin. The chainmail, the shoulder guards, heavily armored, you know, again referencing the Shogun moniker. You can see there's clearly no chinks in the armor of Kenshin.
Oh, well, it seems like he may have left an opening there for Cyres, but failing to capitalize. Brings him in, goes in, oh my! Seemed like he was attempting for a full moon bomb, but instead gets a guillotine choke. One of the most unique reversals I think I've seen today.
I definitely haven't seen a reversal like that, so again, giving Cyres credit where credit is due. Trying to wear down the big man and trying to lock it in a guillotine again, but only able to get a body scissors. Kenshin learning from the first time.
Yes, indeed. I mean, yeah, to play devil's advocate once more, Blake Syrase is certainly trying his best to make the most of this moment, but I think there's only so much you can do.
And a second DDT, and like I said, there's only so much you can do against the power, the strength of a man the size of Kenshin.
So else it seems like Cyres is very much struggling. Seems like Kenshin is reveling in said struggle as now holds him up. Shibuya Stunner!
And now listen to the crowd exploding. They know the end is near. Kenshin knows it as well, relishing the crowd's cheers.
The crowd unanimously on Kenshin's side. Tachi's hilt!
Oh, that's it. That has to be it.
Hooks the leg properly. 1, 2, and still your T1GP Heavyweight Champion, the Dark Side Shogun, Kenshin.
Man, oh man, one has to wonder what Bryan Cruz thinks about this.
I was about to say, one night in Tokyo, Bryan Cruz has quite the challenge in the champion coming up ahead of him. I mean, I'm sure that he's been watching in the back, knowing very well that he's probably going to have to focus on Kid-Arachnid for tonight, but in his near future, this is the man that he's going to have to deal with.
That he is. Oh, Bryan Cruz has a challenge ahead of him.
This man, Kenshin, no matter how long he's been in here, no matter how much wear and tear he's got, he's still a warrior at the end of the day and stands still as champion.
I put in work in 1 year that a lot of these old heads haven't put in 3. And you're one of those old heads, Terry.
Sing us a song.
When's the last time Terry Atkins got in a ring?
A song to keep us warm.
You know what would really help the next generation of guys coming into this business? If you actually showed up.
Such a
And you have what they're marketing as the horse fight of the century. Terry, it's clear that you don't want to be here anymore. It's clear that you are ready to ride your broken, shitty tractor into the sunset of whatever backwater town you came from. And you want to be done with it. So here's what I'm going to do, Terry. I'm going to make that wish come true. This little retirement tour, it ends early, and it's gonna end because I'm saying it's gonna end. Your time is up. No sunset. You won't see it. I'm not gonna leave you with your eyes, because that would be far too generous for a man that doesn't want to see the inside of a ring.
That you choke. That you choke.
Indeed, the Haas fight of a century, Kid-Arachnid versus T1GP, a main event that could be anywhere. We're lucky enough to have it on Cardiff. But
That indeed we are.
We have our next matchup, our co-main event technically of the evening, the amazing, spectacular Kid-Arachnid up against the human highlight reel, Bryan Cruz.
Man, both of these lovely competitors, well, I use the word lovely sparingly on Bryan Cruz. We know his antics. But both Arachnid and Cruz, both a couple years into their career, young upstarts, both looking to make a name for themselves, and Bryan looking to continue the momentum from High Octane.
Introducing first, the amazing, the spectacular Kid-Arachnid!
Out comes the first competitor, rather, Kid-Arachnid, who I'm sure has a fire lit under him ever since those last couple sightings of him like we've seen on RPW, recently being of Steel to Survive, and the latest Carnage episode where he had to go to the Gauntlet, both of which he had to deal with both Manny Fuentes and not getting the national championship off of him. Both due to interference from Natural Order's Dave Henderson. I'm sure he's got a lot of anger to expend in this matchup here tonight. I mean, I'm sure anyone would be mad having a championship tossed twice in a row by the same person and losing to the exact same guy.
Certainly something to think about, but honestly, I don't think Arachnid can think about that right now. He can't be focused on that. Again, he has yet to win a match here. Technically won a couple in the Gauntlet, but didn't end up walking out being champion. He has to focus on Bryan Cruz tonight.
Speak of the devil, and he shall appear.
And his opponent, he is the human highlight reel, Bryan Cruz!
The devil is right. Honestly, just look at the man. Look at the soulless eyes of Bryan Cruz. He knows what he did to Cedric Young. He knows the shortcut he had to take to beat him. And Arachnid has to be looking for that retribution for his faction mate.
Yes, and the Bryan Cruz riding off the wave of blues here in London after his win up against Cedi on the last High Octane. But these two have one thing in common. They both have a win up against Ricky Rose, as Kid-Arachnid was able to beat him at Presidio Rising, and Bryan Cruz was able to pick up a win at Wrestle. But Bryan Cruz, through his nefarious means, has certainly got a ways about him in both matches. And we really got to wonder whether one of his cronies, who we've only got names of Nori Ito and Takashi, get involved in this matchup here. I mean, hope for the best, prepare for the worst. You know what I mean? I'm trying to do the best here. I don't know if I can give too much of a benefit of the doubt to Bryan Cruz.
I mean, Arachnid has to have them on the back of his mind. He has to know that they might come out here, but again, Arachnid can't really concern himself with that. He has to focus on defeating the man inside the ring, Bryan Cruz. So far, there's no one out here alongside Bryan, so we just have to, again, hope for the best, prepare for the worst.
Yes, indeed. I mean, it's so far. I mean, to be fair, these two very acclimated and very agile technical wrestlers as well. These two are more similar than they are kind of separate, but I think the only thing separating them is attitude. And with Bryan Cruz having the bit of attitude and nefarious means, as I've said before, and winning his matches, that's a very stark difference from Kid-Arachnid so far.
That is true. Arachnid is more high-flying based, and, well, Bryan Cruz is a little bit more grounded. As you see that forearm coming in from Bryan Cruz. Both men trying to start this match off hot.
It seems like there's Bryan Cruz Irish whipping Kid-Arachnid, but nice Hurricane Rana taking a bump on the back. And yeah, a very fiery start. Kind of a fiery start between Cyres and Kenshin.
That is true. The London crowd loving Arachnid so far. Oh.
A couple stiff chops there from Bryan Cruz. And I mean, I guess you can only learn to be grounded as Bryan Cruz has had, honestly, there was a period where you couldn't miss Bryan Cruz. He was damn near everywhere. Single leg drop kick, can't exactly say the same here for Kid-Arachnid. Seems like he's only getting a couple more matches in. Debuted, I think, close to like the end of the 2010s, closing in on the 2020s if I'm correct.
Indeed you are. Arachnid making his debut then, but taking some time off to hone his craft. And as you can see, he's back better than ever.
Seems like he's able to kind of outsmart Bryan Cruz a little bit with his athleticism, but
he's
Cruz
not
showing
able
immediately that he could do it himself.
Not able to be out athletic. Bryan Cruz is able to keep up with him in that department.
There's the element of
creative.
surprise there.
That is exactly what Arachnid has to do to keep a man like Bryan Cruz down.
Oh, and now brings him up and over.
Him out. Oh,
and a beautiful Meteora.
Telling Bryan Cruz to suck it. Doesn't like his antics.
Now, does Kid-Arachnid have a name for that move?
Yeah, he told me backstage it was called the Freaky Aura.
Care to elaborate?
Okay. Anyway, flying clothesline from Arachnid.
All right, fair
Beautiful.
enough. 1, 2, and a big kick out there from Bryan Cruz. It's just kind of the matter of the pride of Bryan Cruz and the wrath of Kid-Arachnid at this very moment, at least. And I know that Kid-Arachnid can't exactly focus on other things, but that's got to be a factor going into this, right? Not having a single win will probably incentivize you to get the win even more, and especially up against somebody who's been very much, kind of working as a bit of a stooge master in Bryan Cruz.
Yes, that he is. You could see Arachnid. Oh, never mind. I was about to say you could see that momentum start to pick up for Arachnid, but Bryan Cruz just shutting it down.
That big thrust kick seemed to have just stopped Kid-Arachnid in his tracks, but not able to pick up the victory like that. Seems like Bryan Cruz is going to have to figure out a whole different plan in order to take Kid-Arachnid down that way. Now posted in the corner. What's the idea here? Oh my God. unloading these close shots to the head, followed with the European uppercut.
It's not pretty, but it gets the job done. Just those stiff right hands and an uppercut. As he throws him back into the corner. Bryan Cruz not using any dirty tactics so far.
Oh my!
Oh wow!
Inside and out with that springboard crossbody. You know,
and unlike when Cyres did the DDT, the crowd is actually giving Bryan Cruz his flowers.
It seems like there's a little bit more room for Bryan Cruz to breathe here. And what Bryan Cruz doing?
Is he acting a fan? Oh, and missed the first moonsault. Not able to escape the second one was Arachnid. Arachnid had the right idea.
I mean, there's Bryan Cruz trying to play the human game of chess, be 3 steps ahead of your opponent. I think he had anticipated that Kid-Arachnid was going to dodge the first one.
Probably seen him moving by the, out the corner of his eye and decided to change course. And this, just antagonizing him. He's trying to make him angry. You get him angry, he makes a mistake.
It seems like he may have unlocked something in Kid-Arachnid as in comes his blitz of strikes. Immediately being shut back down, dropped to a knee. Now Cruz with shots to the ribs trying to take out Kid-Arachnid. Wait a minute!
Oh!
My goodness.
What a stunner!
1, 2, and a... Oh my goodness. You know what? As much as I say I shouldn't be surprised, I'm always surprised when Kid-Arachnid pulls out a stunner. Having a front row seat to his match with Richie at Bushido Rising, he's able to pull out of anywhere and tried for armed and dangerous. But Bryan Cruz was able to dodge out of the way, comes under and hits the leg. And now it seems like he's on the forefront of momentum. And a beautiful springboard cutter. And to his Doomsday faction mate, Cedric Young. Could he pick up the victory here? No!
My God, did you see how close the match was to ending? Bryan Cruz barely able to roll his shoulder up at 2.8. And Arachnid is going up top. We know what he's coming for. Sorry, what he's going for. The referee tends to... Are you serious?
But you know what? See? This is what happened.
Come on. When the match was just getting good.
Oh my God, man. What is that? Oh! God! Slingshot leg drop from, I believe that's Takashi. And what the hell?
He was just doing his job.
Okay. You see?
It's always like this. It's always like this for Arachnid.
Like, it just seems like Kid-Arachnid can't catch a break. It seems like Bryan Cruz and his fucking cronies can't seem to keep their nose out of his damn business.
It's always like this for Arachnid. Arachnid is close to getting a victory, and it seems like he's just wrong place, wrong time, and this happens to him.
What has happened?
And oh my! Squished his head like a grape.
That super kick knee strike sandwich.
Both Takashi and Minori met in the middle on Arachnid's head. As look at Takashi, I believe, trying to get the referee back into the ring.
Of course, after all of that, you finally decide to bring him back inside the ring.
Oh, look at Bryan Cruz perched up looking for the final highlight. No!
Wait! Caught him! Sit out power bomb from Kid-Arachnid. I guess those spidey senses working in his favor. Draping the arm over the chest, but the referee is
referee indisposed. And yes, Arachnid might have felt something tingle, which is why he got to that power bomb. And 2, can he get to the victory? No.
God. Seems like it's always so close.
Just like this, armed and dangerous, looking for it again and again. Minori able to just distract Arachnid as Takashi is distracting the referee. We've seen this exact thing happened in the Cedric Young match.
Word for word, bar for bar.
And oh my goodness.
Come on now. This is just getting ridiculous.
That indeed it is. I honestly, I can't believe this. Well, I guess I can because it's Bryan Cruz, but oh!
It's the real ending.
The real ending was the ending of Arachnid's hopes to get a victory here in RPW, again being fucked over by Bryan Cruz and his cronies.
This is just completely God damn you to hell.
There's Dave Henderson up, coming back. And as you see Arachnid trying to fight off a net. Oh! Just wait a minute. Is he going to hit it? Hit it? No! He ducks under it. And Fuentes nails him with a brainbuster. Could become the new national champion through this absolute buffoonery. God damn it.
Referee, you can count to damn near 1,000.
Come the fuck on, man. Like, this has happened not once, but twice. Like, someone should be, like, monitoring this.
A little back face buster. Fate connects the deep hook. Moving on from the last match, you see Dave Henderson and Kid-Arachnid set for Carnage, but me, I'm hitting the catering and getting these 2-foot-long glizzies they got back there.
What?
You heard me.
Tonight, the first ever Headlock Productions Champion is crowned. As the Anomaly, Lennon Walsh goes one-on-one with the Neoma. Sin. History is made in London.
Well, whilst Howie is dealing with that glizzy debacle, we move on to our main event of the evening. To crown the inaugural Headlock Productions Champion. Now comes the first challenger.
The Neoma Sin!
Indeed, the Neoma Sin recently becoming the newest acquisition of the Black Dragon Army on the latest episode of Empire, and is also scheduled to face Justin Harris for this upcoming Carnage, which has advertised Kid-Arachnid versus Dave Henderson and Garo Teresian versus Terry Atkins. So certainly a stacked card we have for that Carnage, but I don't know if Neoma has his sights set on that quite yet, as he has the potential to become the first ever Headlock Productions Champion. There can only be one, and him marketing himself as the first ever Headlock Productions Champion, I mean, that's certainly a feat that only he can have. But it's also coming down to the fact whether or not he's going to be able to get past the Anomaly, Lennon Walsh, here in London.
Man, that line was long as hell. I was just trying to get in and get out and get back to my job, but I guess those sweet sausages will have to wait for me later.
But yeah, we got time after the show. As out comes the other challenger.
Introducing next, the Anomaly, Lennon Walsh!
And out comes the Anomaly himself, Lennon Walsh. This man is no stranger to accomplishments, as he's the current MS Productions Series champion, having recently defended up against Matt Short on the latest episode of Madness TV, having major success on Showcase Studios, and I guess more relatively to RPW, taking Jordan McKay under his wing before clipping said wings under him at the latest High Octane. But I guess to keep the Headlock Production, his latest match since then was up against Terry Atkins at the Headlock Japan special. So it seems like this man, again, is no stranger to success, and looking to add that first ever Headlock Productions Champion to his accolades only seems like a bit of a stepping stool for him to get even better.
Now, you mentioned that Sin was a newly member of the Black Dragon Army, but you have to question if they're even going to be out here tonight. And if they are, did Lennon Walsh make a mistake in cutting Jordan McKay loose so soon?
You know what? I don't know what his motives are. Maybe just looking to try and clear his mind before this very matchup. And yeah, certainly having an ally would have probably helped in the situation, especially up against all of the Black Dragon Army. And I mean, we saw that High Octane has Arashi Ray coming very soon, so he certainly has one of his BDA brethren to call upon. But we'll just have to see.
And you know, once you get one member of the BDA, I mean, to be fair, at least 4 or to follow. At least with Arashi Ray, you follow the head of the dragon, and the body just has to follow through. You know what I'm saying?
I don't know. I get what you're putting up. I'm picking up what you're putting down, more rather. But regardless, main event: the Neoma Sin, the Anomaly, Lennon Walsh. This matchup has now begun. Little Nate in the corner, calling all the action.
Both men just staring daggers into each other, much like Kenshin and Blake Syrase. And, well, unlike that, this is to crown the first ever champion in the Headlock Productions Championship. And which one of these two men are going to make history?
Yes, indeed. Who's willing to hold the helm for the Headlock Productions Network is certainly something I'm sure both men have on their minds at the very moment to see who wants it better. But these two very similar in style with their smash mouth, high flying type of wrestling. But also Lennon Walsh
those
as
kicks.
a striker.
That he is, and the Neoma looking to use his athleticism and just catch Lennon Walsh by surprise, maybe keep him on his toes.
Seems like he's going to try his best, but it seems like Lennon Walsh, ever the technical wrestler, probably one of the very few hybrid wrestlers I've seen over the years that is able to do most of it, if not at all.
That is true, and
wait,
very much a style that is slowly beginning to pick up. And few can master it like Lennon Walsh has.
yes indeed, and over the years it seems like he's been able to do it to a fine art, to a fine science.
That he has. And also, watching this match, I can't help but realize the dynamic you pointed out in the first match in the red versus blue.
And a tale as old as time.
Lennon Walsh just beating on the Neoma and pulling him to the floor.
Grabbing him by his head.
Nothing good's ever done there. Oh!
And the guardrail being smashed up against it is certainly not something you'd want to do. Oh my god! Face.
There's no padding unlike in the ring. It's just pure steel. Steel across the face. Well, I'm pretty sure. Well, can't feel good.
Although I wouldn't imagine being dropped from however tall Lennon Walsh is, his height, and dropped onto the front. Ooh-wee. The guardrail. I'm just feeling the pain just describing it.
About to say, especially ricocheting off your bald head, that can't feel good at all. Nothing to protect yourself.
Hey man, why'd you have to point that out?
Just
If
calling it how I see it.
Or rather, like a Jujikatami cross arm breaker, whatever you may want to call it.
Not crossing the legs, able. He didn't cross the legs there, allowing for the maximum extension, but also allowing the Neoma a chance to escape.
Oh my goodness, nice Hurricane Rana there. As Lennon Walsh seemingly frustrated. It seems like Sin equally as frustrated, not having the action continue, but it seems like Lennon Walsh is going to try and keep a breather between him and the Neoma.
Yes, Lennon Walsh is thinking, using his head and not rushing too far into things, always going in the ring with a calculated mindset, and it looks like he's trying to target the back. He's just trying to keep the Neoma grounded.
Yes, indeed, it seems like it can only get better here for Lennon. As soon as I say that, in comes Sin with that rope-assisted head scissors, on track to follow, and now he's going on hot fire flame Hurricane Rana.
That fire is raging out of control as Lennon Walsh is on the floor in the drop zone for, Sin. But Lennon Walsh a little bit slow to his feet.
Seems like the accumulated damage has only got Neoma a little bit more hungry. Oh, wait! Tried the space
landed on the floor. Beautiful that he landed it, but obviously not landing the way he intended.
Yes, indeed, not exactly the astronaut's landing. And now going.
Oh
no! Wait a minute, escaping the power bomb position, going in for the kick. Into the midsection as well, and a DDT on the outside. Again, the very thin matting that we have here can only protect you so much.
About to say thin mats on the concrete floor, as you could see. As he's looking for something here, again relishing in the crowd. Just stay on your opponent. Didn't cost him that time.
Apron to the outside with that Hurricane Rana. Okay, there's a bit of that smash mouth mentality there. Those closed fists on the outside, not that the referee could see it. So it seems like it's just free game for him.
That it is. And now he's going to the high rent district as the crowd.
Big splash there from Sin. Will he be able to be the first Headlock Productions Champion? Not quite.
Extremely close though, but close isn't exactly the champion now, is it?
Almost counts in horseshoes and hand grenades, rather.
And Lennon just dunking his head off the mat.
Now going in for the cover, not deciding to hook the leg. And that could have eternally been his downfall. He only brushed up the shoulder, but that was a pretty close count, now that I see it.
That it was, and Lennon is trying to capitalize on that and just, well, as I was saying, he was trying to capitalize Sin with a super kick and just dropped him.
Now brings him off the rope. Oh, wait a minute. Rebound into a fireman's carry. And
you know what Lennon Walsh says? Lennon Walsh says you cannot escape, and
well, he escaped.
Well, Lennon, you're a liar.
Yeah, that's rough. It seems like Lennon Walsh preparing for that signature dive of his. Now bouncing off the ropes, bouncing him off.
Gathering all that momentum. Oh my God, crashing hard on Sin. And I wouldn't want all that weight crashing down on me, personally.
Oh no, absolutely not. A man of Lennon Walsh's stature, I would not imagine would want. I wouldn't want anybody of that size to be flying that much. I mean, there's those killer Corrado kicks once again. We saw from Kenshin earlier, now from Lennon Walsh. Breaking back into the inside of the ring here. Collar and elbow, but it seems like Lennon Walsh in the driver's seat here. Working on autopilot at this moment, looking to try and go for the buckle pop.
Oh! Into the steel! We talked about it with the barricades, but those ring posts are thicker. Nobody wants to be hit. Well, thrown into the steel. That rewind drop kick from Sin, that patented move of his.
Now going in for the cover, looking to finish it that way, but not quite. Seems like there's a lot more where that came from, not only from Sin, but from Lennon Walsh. It seems like he's
on what Sin looking for.
Oh, wait! Tried to go for a rewind kick.
Oh, is Lennon going for Cruel Angel's Thesis?
Wait a minute. Fight out of it. Wait a second! Oh my God! The way that Sin landed on his neck after that German suplex, and it seems like it could be wraps from here. Meet the Woo knee! Not quite finished with him yet.
Oh, and he's reintroducing him to the Woo with these knees.
I'm sure he got a whole bunch of the Woo right there.
And Lennon.
Oh my.
Yeah, he could be looking for the buckle bomb here. No.
Wait a second, it looked like a buckle bomb. Oh, a bit of a take out of Cedric Youngman with a Sun's tirade. And what's the get up here?
Oh, he's telling him to stay down. He's scaling the top rope. We all know what he's going for.
Oh, and it seems like this could be the be-all, end-all from the Sephiroth of Pro Wrestling Suicide Bomb! 1, 2, and your first ever Headlock Productions Champion, the Anomaly, Lennon Walsh.
Lennon Walsh has just etched his name into history books on a show that will also probably go down in the history books. We loved having you here, London. Or London loved having us here, rather.
On behalf of Headlock Productions and How We Do It, I'm George, Arkansas, and good night from London.